How's it going, YouTube? There's been a lot of elections in Europe lately, and I just made new videos on the Finnish national election results and the Bulgarian national election results. YouTube does not distribute my videos anymore, so if you haven't seen them, click the link in the description below, and they should pop right up. This video is going to be about an Italian regional election. Now, it wasn't very long ago that the Italian left controlled most of the country. And since I've started this YouTube channel, I've chronicled the rise of the Italian right and how these regions have one by one been flipping from the center-left coalition to the center-right coalition. Now, there's 19 semi-autonomous regions. There's also a 20th, but it's more like an independent county. It's very small. At any rate, this region is Friuli-Venezia Giulia. It's in the northeastern corner of Italy. It shares a border with Slovenia. They held a two-day election to pick the president and a new regional parliament. Now, in the 2013 election, the center-right coalition and the center-left coalition both got about 40% each. But the center-left coalition won a lot more seats and took control of the region. In 2018, Massimiliano Fedriga became president with 57%. Now, he's a member of Lega. He's been in the party for a long time, since the 90s, back when it was just a regional party called Lega Nord, League of the North. Now, he was just re-elected with 64%. So it wasn't even close. It was a total blowout for the center-right coalition. And on top of that, there was another candidate who's essentially a right-wing protest candidate. So this candidate is primarily backed by a new party that's being called Italexit, which wants to leave the European Union. And essentially, this was an anti-EU protest vote that got another 4.7%. And so most of the people that voted for this are on the right as well. Now, here's the main parties in this region for the center-right coalition. In the 2018 election, Lega got 35%. They only got 19%. However, there's a party that's basically a Federica fan club, so to speak. And it's essentially under Lega's umbrella. So Lega, Forza Italia, Partito Democratico, they all have regional parties that are part of their umbrella, their network. It gets extremely complicated in Italy. There's just so many parties, and then all the different regions have a bunch of different parties. Now, Lega went down by a lot, but the Federica fan club party went up by a lot. And so I don't know how much of a difference it is between voting from these two parties. Maybe someone's watching this that lives in Friuli-Venezia Giulia, and you can, post a comment below and describe how much of a difference there are between these two parties. Now, you've got Fratelli d'Italia, Brothers of Italy, and they got about 6% last time. Of course, now they're the biggest party in Italy. They got 18.1%. And then you got Forza Italia. They were down a lot with 6.7%. And then this is a local regional party that's part of the center-right coalition. But altogether, it was a huge majority for the center-right coalition. Basically, I think about 63.5% for the center-right coalition parties, and over 64% for their presidential candidate. And then you've got this Giorgia Tripoli, they got 4.7% for president. And then a coalition of parties that backed her got 4% of the vote. The main one, as I said, it's got a long Italian name. It's being referred to as Italexit. It's basically an anti-EU protest party. There's two other small parties that are part of this, and one of them is like a single issue anti-vaccine mandate party. The other one is a small Catholic party that opposes the homosexual political agenda. At any rate, here we have the center-left coalition, and their candidate was Massimiliano Martuzzo. And essentially, this is Partido Democratico, the main left-wing party. They did terrible. They only got 16.5%. This is a regional, it's like Pact for Autonomy. It's a local party. This is Five Star Movement. So in the 2018 election, Five Star Movement had their own presidential candidate, and they were a major party back then. And essentially, Pact for Autonomy and Five Star Movement were not even part of the center-left coalition in the 2018 election. And even with their vote, the center-left coalition barely got anything. Their candidate got 28.4%. Just an absolute total blowout. Then you got a fourth presidential candidate who was backed by some tiny centrist parties that only got about another 2.5% of the vote. The Italian right just keeps on winning, and now they're winning bigger and bigger. So this is good news. And parties like Lega and Fratelli d'Italia, well, they're way more conservative than a lot of what's called center-right in Northern Europe. For example, the British Tory or the German Christian Democrats. I mean, these parties are way to the right of them. And as I said, in 2013, the center-left coalition eked out a victory. And then in 2018, it was a huge victory for the center-right coalition with their presidential candidate winning 57%. And now this is an even much bigger victory with their candidate winning 64%. And you've got Five Star Movement ran as independent in the 2018 election. This was when that was a big party. And I can remember when alleged mainstream media was saying that Five Star Movement was a right-wing party simply because they were somewhat anti-establishment. Well, now they've imploded, and now they're a tiny party that just ran as part of the center-left coalition. All right, thanks for watching this video. Click the like button, post a comment below, tell me what you think about all this. And please subscribe to my backup channels on Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. And click the subscribe button. New video every few days.